We begin with State Senator Brian Williams, who joins us now on the record. Good to have you with us.
Thanks, Marcus.
So the no drama candidate's first big move was mailing 90,000 postcards calling you a MAGA sleeper agent. As the alleged sleeper agent, how's the drama-free race going?
You know, I'll say this: as a son of a single mom, is quite shameful, and I found it to be hurtful as someone with a progressive record to have someone not only smear me, and to think that Mr. Zimmerman took a procedural vote and said that I voted against abortion rights when I've been on the front line, standing as one of a few Democrats in arguably one of the longest filibusters in the history of the state. The longest.
It was unsuccessful in the end.
It was unsuccessful, but we fought for 50 hours not only to protect the citizen-led petition process to ensure that voters got an opportunity to vote towards reproductive health rights for women and earn sick pay and an increase in minimum wage. And that fight we actually won. It was because of my commitment to progressive values and issues. And for Mr. Zimmerman to accuse me of being MAGA when I've been nothing but a progressive leader, and as a son of a single mom, is hurtful, and it's been hurtful to my family.
Here's my problem. Your response graphic stamps false claims over that mailer that cites an actual roll call vote with your name on it. We went and checked. So help me out. Was the vote fake, or is the spin on the impact of that vote fake? Because those are two very different things.
Absolutely. So it's the spin of the vote. So basically what it is a procedural vote that would allow a convention of delegates, if the federal government decided to go rogue, we would have delegates that can keep that in control.
In a Republican-led state, you would trust them with that power?
I would trust our state being able to make its own decisions and not having the federal government or any state deciding for us. But most importantly, this is something that, again, if it happened, would require ratifying several other states.
Yes.
It would require clearly delegates ensuring that they don't go vogue. It has nothing to do with abortion, no connection to abortion. And I'm proud of my record of being able to vote in support of women's rights and protecting women at all costs in the state of Missouri.
The mailer says Republican money wants you in this office. Maybe that's a smear. So let's take the red or blue out of it. Contracts do flow through that office. Just ask Steve Stanger. Why does big money on either side of the aisle want you in this job?
Well, I can't speak for why someone would want me into that job, but I can speak to my record and the simple fact that I have ran an office with integrity, that's been transparent, and most importantly, been able to find success in Jefferson City, where it's advocating for securing close to $100 million in funding back to this region, and most importantly, being able to do it in one of the most volatile legislatures in the country. And I think it's important to also note that it's one thing to say something and it be true, but it's a completely different thing to say something and it not be true. And what this comes down to is the fact that I have a progressive record with a reputation of being an ethical, thoughtful leader, and that won't change as county executive.
One last question on this, and we'll move on to the bigger picture issues in that office. And I do look forward to pressing Mr. Zimmerman in a few moments on many of these same attack ads that we're seeing. You're on the Crisis Nursery's advisory board.
Yes, sir.
The Crisis Nursery puts out a statement torching the PAC that supports your opponent. Coincidence?
It's not a coincidence. And again, I hadn't had any conversations as a board member, but I think for a charitable organization that I'm deeply committed to their causes, I've been on their advisory board for several years now, and to think that my opponent used their brand to try to promote a mailer discrediting and smearing me is completely unethical, and I am proud of them and any other organization who has their 501c3 status at jeopardy because a politician like Mr. Zimmerman decided to use their name.
A PAC supporting him.
Well, a PAC supporting Mr. Zimmerman is using their brand to try to promote a false smear against myself.
And we'll give him a chance to address that.
And again, I think it's, I'm proud of them for denouncing any negative campaigning, which I think is wrong. And most importantly, I think it's good that they denounce the fact that they stand for an organization that I'm proud to be a part of.
Senator, I'm going to ask you about the city-county merger. And before I do, just for our viewers to know, most people usually answer this question by saying, well, I'd have to wait and see the details. That answer has been given to our viewers in this region for 50 years now. You're free to give that answer. If you do, I'll just note for our viewers that you chose not to answer with specifics. So as county executive, do you want to lead this region toward one government or defend two?
First, I want to note the fact that St. Louis County is broke. It has a $41 million budget deficit. And I was proud to carry legislation that opened up a fund of hotel motel tax money that county taxpayers paid into close to $50 million, which allowed us to essentially erase the budget deficit before voters elect me as their county executive. Meaning my priority is stabilizing St. Louis County, making sure government services feel close to its residents. To think that the offices are closing at 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m., that is an access problem. To think that we have so many different challenges around affordability, public safety is something that I think we need to prioritize. So my first term will be ensuring that the quality of life for county residents who live here is made whole. In terms of working with the city of St. Louis, I'm committed to working with the mayor, and I'm also committed to recognizing the fact that downtown St. Louis is our front door, and we should be prioritizing the city of St. Louis every step of the way. And I will do that as county executive, and then I can have a conversation about what does more regional collaboration or a merger looks like.
You're asking voters to trust your judgment, but you're not
asking-
telling us what your deal breaker or your deal maker is.
I think it's going to come down again, Mark, to me being confident that St. Louis County government can uphold this end of the deal. And right now, the county is broke. The county has a disconnect from its services, and we have to get our own house in order.
Your opponent says the county needs a manager. You say the county needs a fighter. The last fighter is under indictment. The last deal maker went to federal prison. In one sentence, what does the county need from this office that it hasn't had in 12 years?
I think the county needs someone with a record that has delivered for St. Louis County as the largest county in the region, someone that's going to talk directly to residents about how you enhance their quality of life. And most importantly, St. Louis County has a story to tell. And you need a leader that can tell it, that will be able to navigate the legislature, that will be able to work closely with the council, and most importantly, be someone that identifies the best and the brightest individuals to help run county government and make every resident in the county proud. I've done that as a state senator, and I will continue to do it humbly with the support of county voters.